My name is Deborah and this is my channel, Stitch the Stash. Today is Wednesday, August 4th, 2021, and I am coming to you from New York City, where I live here with my husband Manny and our two cats, Chloe and Shanna. This is a channel all about cross stitch, so if you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and if this is your first time checking me out, I hope you find something that you like and you'll stick around and enjoy. So yeah, it has been a hot minute since I have recorded. I'm just going to say it's life. It's the way my summer has been. But that doesn't mean I haven't been stitching. I have been extremely busy. So I'm trying to sneak in a recording today. Manny is actually in the office today. He has been going in one day a week for the past 2 weeks. This is his third week going in, and then after this week it will probably be every other week just for one day. And that's simply because there's a meeting that's being held bi-weekly, and he prefers to be in the office for that. I am still working from home, but that will be changing in September. My office has decided to bring us all back starting September 13th, and basically it will be a 3-day in office, 2 days working remotely for us. We're doing a trial period through the end of the year to see how it goes. So while I'm looking forward to going in and seeing my coworkers again, I'm also thrilled that we have the option of still being able to work from home for a couple of days. So yeah, we'll see how that goes in a few weeks, but until then, I'm still sitting here. So I'm going to try to give an update today. I have lots of finishes, I have new starts, I have my works in progresses, I have some things that I have partially FFO'd. So I'm probably going to be recording this in clips today, so because I am working, and right now I am on my lunch break, so I'm just trying to see how much I can get done. So let's go ahead and get started and move on to my finishes. So let's talk about finishes. I have quite a few to share with you. I have been very busy during the past couple months, and I believe I have a total of 6 finishes. The first one is from this pattern called Next Door by Heartstring Samplery. I do not have the finished object in my hands anymore because it was a birthday present for a dear sweet friend of mine. But I do have a couple of pictures, which I will insert here. And as you can see, I completely changed the colors, the thread colors. I went with her favorite color, which is purple, and just sorted through my stash until I found the color combinations that I loved. I used a combination of Color and Cottons, Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, XJute Design, and a Victorian Motto Sampler Shop thread. The backing fabric is a little bit of a freebie that I had received from an online order from, I believe, is Simple Fabrics or Simple Stitches Fabric Shop. I will put the correct name of the shop over here. And the chenille trim is a Lady Dot Creates in the color Grape Fizz. I absolutely had fun making this into a pillow, and this was my first time attaching the chenille trim, which I used the tutorial from Lindy Stitches that she has on her FlossTube channel, which was excellent. And while it was a little time intensive, I actually really love how it turned out. So that was my first finished object. The next thing I finished was a huge finish. It wasn't something I was expecting to finish this year because this is on my Whip Go board, but it was only for 3 days of stitching. And then May came around and I could not stop. And I am talking about my Summer at Cherry Hill by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I started this in May of last year with Erin 2 Martini Stitcher. We decided to start this together, and so when I picked it up in May to work on it for its birthday, I could not put it down. I just kept stitching and seeing the progress, and I decided to go for it. I ended up finishing this on July 1st. The fabric is a 36 count Seraphim in the color Dusty Road. I have used all the called for colors except for in the tree. The tree is a Weeks Dye Works in the color Swiss Chocolate. Everything else is called for. And if you're stitching this, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you're going to need 2 skeins of the red, which is chili pepper. I think it's Classic Colorworks chili pepper. And then you might need 2 skeins of avocado, which it's the grass is avocado, and then there's a few leaves in the tree that's avocado. And I actually had a leftover skein of avocado from a previous project, and I started putting it in the trees. And I noticed that mine was really yellow versus more green, so I had purchased another skein, which was a darker dye lot, and that's what's down here. I'm pretty sure that if I had just had 1 skein, I used it here and in the trees, I probably would have run out and needed just a teeny bit of a second skein. So if you're doing this on a 32, 28, something larger than the 36 or 40, you might need a couple of skeins of the chili pepper and the avocado. But I love it. I'm looking forward to getting this framed and hanging on my wall. I forgot to say what fabric I stitched the Next Door pattern on. That was actually a 36 count mystery linen from Color and Cotton. I had received it in one of their grab bags. Occasionally they'll put fabric grab bags on in their shop, and basically you can get linen or Aida. You just don't know what the count is, and each package has 3 pieces of fabric, which measures around 8 by 12, and I used that fabric for this pillow, and I also used the little bit that was left for another finish that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So I forgot to say that, so that's what that pillow was stitched on. It was a beautiful mottled brownie green. My next finish was July by Lizzie Kate. Is one of the yearbook monthly patterns, and with this finish, I have finished this series. I'm so thrilled to have them all done. I stitched them all on a 28 count Lakeside linen in the color Vintage Exemplar, and I started them for 24 hours of cross stitch in July of last year, and I spent 2 hours on each one getting them started, and then I worked on them month to month, and yeah, I'm so thrilled to have them done. And as you can see, I actually have this one laced. The only thing that I don't have is the felt and the washer attached yet, but that's okay. I just FFO'd this a couple weeks ago, so it wasn't going to be displayed in July anyway, but while I was doing the FFOing, I laced August, September, and October, and they all have the felt on the back, and I just need to attach the washer so they'll be ready to go for displaying this year. Let's see. Oh, I did not use any over-dyed flosses on these. These are all the DMC conversions that is provided in the patterns, and I just love it. I just felt, because how small these were, that I didn't need to invest in the over-dyed threads, and I think the DMC just turned out just fine. So I'm excited to have a monthly series completely done. I never thought that would happen, and I'm looking forward to another 24 hours of cross stitch where I choose maybe another monthly series or a seasonal series and do the same thing, and then work on them throughout the year, and at the end of the year I'll have another series done. So I'm super excited about that. My next finish was Stitch Spool by Jeanette Douglas Designs, and this is the piece that I used a little bit of remaining of the Color and Cotton mystery fabric, and as you can see the modeling, the green modeling. It's really, really pretty, but this design calls for a 36 count linen because the finish is on a spool, which I have the spool here. I pre-ordered this from the whole kit from Tomorrow's Heirlooms back in, I believe it was back in May when this was released. And so I have this spool, and this will get finished on it. It will look like that when it's finished. And it came with all of the threads, the buttons, and this red ribbon to tie it onto the spool. Absolutely love it. It's adorable. This was a super quick stitch. I stitched it in, let's see, I started it on July 13th and finished it on July 15th. And this was my first time doing this kind of border, specialty border. And what you do is you cut it down, pull threads, and it just will be a raw edge, and this little border will prevent it from fraying. As you can see, I have not done that yet. I'm waiting to fully finish it, just in case it decides to fall apart, because you never know. But yeah, looking forward to getting this FFO'd probably sometime this month, because it really won't take long. It just needs some interfacing and a little bit of quilter's batting to go around the spool. So that was my next finish. And my next finish is actually one of my Mill Hill kits. I decided after hearing Janet Jabber talk about Mill Hill Mondays that I would go ahead and give that a shot. I have quite a few little Mill Hills in my stash, and I thought, when am I going to start them? I have so many whips and everything I want to touch. I need to work in my Mill Hill so they get completed, because I have a few small ones, and then I have some of the Santas, and then I have the Halloween monster ones, which are a little bit bigger, but I think, you know, starting them and working on them as I have time, they will get done. So what I decided to do was on a Monday, start a Mill Hill, and then I would work on it for 30 minutes, 5 days a week, until it was done. And then once I finished it, the following Monday, I would start another one. And so I started this one on July 12th, and I finished it July 19th. And it is my Mill Hill Spring Bouquet Triple Scoop. And the white beads are getting washed out just a little bit. But I absolutely love this. This was my second Mill Hill, and this was the first one that actually did like little specialty clusters of beads. Those are actually 5 beads, and then they did strings of cluster beads to just get this nice texture. Absolutely love it. The other one I finished was my s'more one, which I have hanging here, and I will finish this one just like this one and make it a little hanging ornament. I just have it hanging off of my desk right here. So yeah, this one was super quick, and once I got all the X's done and started beading, I just did not want to put it down, and that's why I got such a quick finish on it. But yeah, absolutely love this one. My last finish actually was a start that I had in May that I have not shown you. It was also called for my May whip go, and on the board I had it for a finish. So I started this on May 20th and finished on July 24th, and I'm talking about my Country Cottage Needleworks Seasonal Celebrations Spring pattern. And I realized a plane was going over, and that was pretty loud. I have my windows open today because there's a nice little breeze coming through. So yeah, you're going to hear all the street noises. Here's a truck. Anyway, I tuned them out, but you can probably hear them. So anyway, as you can see, well, no, you can't see because this is the original. And so I decided to change up the fabric colors, and I changed up the color, a couple of the DMC threads. And as I'm doing with all of them, I am omitting the bottom portion of the pattern. I'm just stitching the top portion. So this is on a 32 count Jobelan by Under the Sea Fabrics in the color Daphne, and because it's this gorgeous purpley pink, I changed out 2 of the DMC colors. I brought in this deep purple and this lighter purple, which you can barely, well, you can see it. You can see it better in person. And originally, once I put it on here, I almost ripped it out and went with another color, but I'm like, nope, I'm just going to leave it because I love it. The only other change I made was the banner is actually stitched in 5 colors, and I just chose 2 colors to stitch it in. And so I went with the beautiful deep fuchsia purple, and then I chose one of the minty, the darker minty green to alternate with. So I'm super happy with this one. I'm hoping to FFO it within the next couple of months, so it'll be ready for spring next year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to pulling out I think I'm going to do the autumn one next. And I'm looking forward to looking at my stash and seeing what fabric I have and what colors I can change up on that one. Because the winter one, I stitched on a minty green and really loved that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what I can pull out for the autumn one. So yep, that is my last finish for the past couple months. So let's move on to works in progress. What are my WIPs? And once again, I've broken it up into different groups because I have so much to show. So I'm going to start off with my zombie run pieces that I use in a yearly challenge in the group Cross Stitches Journal and Daily 30. It is a closed private group. Occasionally they open it back up to members, inviting other individuals to come join us, but right now it is closed and you can't join. But basically what the yearly projects are, or the yearly event, is you choose 4 WIPs or new starts that you'd like to focus on throughout the year, and each month you have to achieve X amount of stitches or hours, and then if you happen to finish one of your projects, you can swap in a new project. And my first project that I stitch on is my Newcastle Bouquet by Teresa Kogut. You've seen this many times. I bought this during Expo last year. This was absolutely my most favorite piece from Expo last year, and I couldn't wait to start it. And I had acorns and threads kitted up for me, and I absolutely love it. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. As you can see, it's getting a little bit harder to hold and show because I've started going across the bottom border. But I absolutely love this piece. I participated in the Frogwarts Year 2 digital retreat in July, and that was a 4-day it's like a Wednesday night to a Sunday evening event, and they have a ton of stitching challenges, and I used this for a couple of the challenges just to get more progress on it. And yeah, so let me do a little bit of a close-up for you so you can see that I'm using all the called for colors, and I'm absolutely thrilled with this. I originally was going to do the whole border first and then go back and fill in, but then as I've been working on this for my zombie run, I've been wanting to just focus on this section and then move over as I complete it. But I love everything about this. The colors get me, the simplicity but yet detail of this pattern, and I'm looking forward to seeing where I end this year with it. I'm also stitching this on 36 count R&R linen in the color Cafe Kona. My next zombie run piece is Halloween Quaker by Leela's Studio. I started this, I believe, in September of 2019, and I decided to put it in my zombie run this year because I'd like to get it done this year. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. Another one that's getting a little bit harder to show. I am stitching this on a 36 count linen by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in the color Jack-O-Lantern. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit done. I also pulled this out for the Frogwarts retreat, and this was the main piece that I tried to fit into as many challenges as I possibly could. And yeah, I have made incredible progress on it. What I did during the retreat was I focused on this section right here, and I finished I think when the retreat started, I was just working up in here, and I just finished this whole section during the retreat. And so yeah, I have everything done with the exception of the bottom page of page 1 and the, let me just show you. I have this bit here to finish, and I'm hoping to have this done. Would be nice to have it done by the end of August. We shall see, but if not, it will definitely be done before its birthday in the end of September. But yeah, I am using all of the called for colors in this, and as you can see, I already have my initials and the year in it, so yes, it's going to be done this year. And I love this piece so much, and I can't wait to get it done. And my next zombie piece is Autumn Dream by Cottage Garden Samplings. Another one of my favorites, and I believe this needle minder is from Grandma Girl Studios, Grandma Girl Designs. She'll be linked below, but yeah, cute little kitty needle minder. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. Yep, I have finished all of the berries on this side. I have finished the little twig that comes down to the bottom. I've started working on the pumpkin house and working on the word dream. Love this piece. I secretly like to have it done this year. It is on my WIPGO board for 3 days of stitching, and I can't remember if it's already been called or not. And if it hasn't, I will just go ahead and put another, well, I'm stitching on it for the rest of the year until it's done. So yeah, it will definitely meet its WIPGO goal if it hasn't already been called. I am stitching this on 36 count linen by Dames of the Needle in the color North Beach Brown. And it's getting a little washed out as per usual. It's a little bit of a deeper peachy color. So yeah, again, secretly like to have it done this year. We just shall see what happens. This was not one of my original WIPGO pieces. I substituted this in for my QS Lavender Roses because I knew that I could have a good chance of getting this one done. And my last zombie run piece is Stitcherovia's Butterflies. I started this, I believe, during Stitch Mania in 2018, and it's a long overdue WIP that needs to be finished. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. A few more butterflies have been completed. I've come up here and filled this one in more, and I have started the one down here in this corner. I am stitching this on a 32 count Jobelan in the color Bittersweet Light. And yeah, well, I have quite a bit of progress on this year. It's still got a lot more to be done, and I would love to have it finished this year and get it off my WIP list. I just don't know if it's going to happen because it's not, every month when I go to pull it out, it's not one of my focus pieces. I put in the bare minimum each month for it. So we will see where it is at the end of the year. Yep. I do love the colors. I love everything about it. I'm not drawn to it at the moment to put more work into it. But yep, there's still 5 months left to this year, so we will see where we're at the end of the year. So that is all of my zombie WIPs, or works in progress. So now I'm going to backtrack to May because it seems like I can never discuss what I did in May. And so we're going to go ahead and cover that now in case I've run out of time. And then I will just show you the rest of my works in progress in my next update. But let's see where we can get. So with May this year, what I decided to do was this. Anything that had a birthday that was started during previous Stitch Manias, I stitched on. which is how Summer at Cherry Hill was stitched and finished. So I stitched on that, and then I have 3 other whips that I stitched on in the month on their birthdays. And then everything else was a new start. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new starts, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them were particular new starts, which encompassed, if I could find my words, on my WIPGO board this year, I have all of my series pieces on the board. And they're all on there, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 of them are on there for finishes. And so what I did is anything that was on the WIPGO board that hadn't been started yet, I started in May. And I tried to work on some of these pieces for 5 days, 30 minutes each. And then I kind of detoured a little bit because there was 2 new starts that, I thought there was a 3rd one, but there was 2 new starts that I actually just felt like starting because I loved it and wanted to start it. So I will show you all of that now. All right, so we'll start with the projects that had birthdays. And the first one is Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. I started this in 2018, and it has been one of my nemesis projects. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. I am stitching this on 28 count Monaco in the color Tea Dyed. It is not actually Tea Dyed, but that's the name of the color. And I finished the roof, and I believe I finished the tree. I can't remember if the tree was already finished. Probably not, because I think I added these little twigs right here. But as you can see, I still have a long ways to go. And I realized as I was stitching on it, the reason why I don't go for this project is the fabric. I do not like this fabric. It is too stiff. It is too thick. The holes are too tight. And I've already looked at the pattern to see how I can reduce it, because I would like to have it done. I feel like I'm too far along to stop and restart on another fabric. So I am thinking about how I can change this up. I might leave this part out and maybe, I don't know. I have to think about it because I don't enjoy it, and life is too short to not really stitch on things you don't enjoy. Needed that water break. So yeah, and I'm someone who feels if you don't enjoy it, stop and do something else, but I also don't like to quit, because that roof took me quite some time. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with this, what I decide to do with it at the end of the year. My next project was Blossom by Carolyn Manning Designs. I started this last year with Caitlin from Big Apple Stitching. She had bought this pattern and fell in love with it. I put it on my Christmas list, and Manny bought it for me. So I reached out to her last year and said, hey, you want to start it together? And so we did. And this is where it's at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. I am stitching this on a 32 count linen by Zweigert in the color Evening Rose. It's a really pretty, dusty, purple-ish rose color. And I know I worked on this for 5 days, and as you can see, I have more flowers on there. I have a little bit more tree branches in there. yeah, part of what I had to do was wrap my brain about how I wanted to approach stitching all of these flowers, because some of these flowers have like 4 colors in them, and they are like start, start, stop, start, start, stop, 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 start, stop. Yeah. So, yeah. I will finish this. I'm not sure when I will pull it out again, but I was happy to put a little more progress in it. It might be one of those projects that ends up on my WIPGO board next year. And the last WIP that I have to show you that I had already started in May was Glad Hearts by Abby Rose Designs. I started this in last year for Stitch Mania. This is where it's at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. I'm stitching this on a 32 count linen by Undersea Fabrics in the color Rose Merta. And of course, the color's not picking up correctly here. It looks a lot more in person like that. It's a peachy pink mottled fabric. And yeah, I didn't iron any of my projects because if I want to get through this, ironing does not compute into that right now. But anyway, as you can see, I got quite a bit more done on it. I am chopping the pattern down. I am getting rid of all this up top, and I've even contemplated removing the alphabet. I haven't decided yet. But I'm pretty pleased with my progress on this for 5 days. Again, I don't know if it'll come out again this year. It might be one of those projects that lands on my WIPGO board next year. It really wouldn't take long to finish it, especially if I omitted the alphabet and put in some other little doodads. But yeah, I don't have it on my immediate radar to pull back out. So now we focus on all of my new starts for May, and I called it Start Something New, May. That's what I decided to call it. And so the first series pattern that I started was my next Little House Needleworks Little Sheep Virtues pattern, and I started Courage. And this is what I accomplished for the 5 days I stitched on it. I put in the border but didn't quite complete it. I'm pretty sure I did 5 days, not 100% sure. But at least now that when it's called on my WIPGO board, I'll be able to finish it. Because these stitch up very quickly. It probably just takes a couple of weekends of focus on it to stitch it up. So yeah, I am stitching them all on one piece of 28 count Lugana in the color Mushroom, and I already have the first 3 done. So I'm excited to get more of these done next year. The next pattern the next series piece I started was the next hands-on design chalk jar piece, and this is the Liberty Chalk Full Jar. And this actually was called for my WIPGO in May, so it's for a finish. I am stitching it on, I'm stitching all of these, well, almost all of these, on a 32 count slate by Fabrics by Stephanie, and this is where I'm at on this one. Made quite a bit of progress on it. As you can see, I have a lot more ways to go. I am using all of the called for colors in this, except I might use what I used for the Harvest Chalkful that does the half stitches on the inside of the jars. I might use what I used last time, which was Color and Cotton Nickel. Haven't 100% decided on that. But yep, I have a long ways to go to get this one done, but my goal is to have it done this year. My next start was for the Animal Stack series. This is Raccoon Rabble by Plum Street Samplers. As soon as I saw her raccoon release, I couldn't resist and decided this was going to be my next start. And this is how far I got with it. I am stitching all of the Animal Stacks on the same fabric, which is a 36 count Picture This Plus linen in the color Opal. I'm using all the called for colors. What is nice about this pattern is all but maybe 2 or 3 are DMCs, and so that's been a nice change from all the other animal stacks I have completed. This was also called for WIPCO this month, so I'm hoping to get it finished this month. I have proven to myself in the past that when I focus on these, I can stitch these in just over a week. This one does have some 1/1 on some of the raccoon faces, so that might slow me down a little bit, but I'm excited to pull this one out and see how far we can get with it this month, and hopefully it will be a finish. My next start was for my Brooks Books Wizard of Oz series. I already have the Lion and Dorothy done, so the next one was the Tin Woodman. And let's see, it has not been called yet. I don't think it was called this month. I have to check my WIPCO board because I know 2 of my series pieces. Actually, I think this was called also for an August finish. So we shall see. This is how far I got with it. As you can see, the Yellow Brick Road. That's what I put in my 5 days of stitching. I think 5 days, may have been less. I think it was, again, my 5 days of stitching is for 30 minutes only. So that's why you're not seeing a huge amount of progress when I say 5 days. I just have to finish this part of the Yellow Brick Road right here, and then I can start on the Tin Woodman. And majority of him was in Kreinik, or no, it was the DMC Metallics or Kreinik, I can't remember. Which I have converted to silk lame braid, which I love stitching with. And you can see right here that this is silk lame braid, and you can see the sparkle on it. So yeah, this is also one of the pieces where I bought all 12 patterns in this series back in 2018. I'm stitching them all on one long piece. But what I decided that I'm going to stop at the lion here. So I have 2 more to stitch, and then I'm going to chop the fabric, frame it, and call it good. If I want to stitch more of them in the series down the road, I have more of the fabric. I'll just decide whether I'm going to do them individually or together. We'll cross that bridge if we come to it. But I'm super excited that I made that decision. It lifted a weight off my shoulders when I decided to modify my original plan, because back in 2018, I didn't have a lot of WIPs. But I love them, and these 4 characters are the main characters that I think of anyway from the movies. So yeah, that's what's going to happen with that one. And again, I think it was called for WIPCO this month, so hopefully it will also be finished. The next start was my Seasonal Celebrations Spring by Country Cottage Needleworks, which I've already finished, which you've already seen. So that was yay, finished that one. And then after that, I started Pretty Little Barcelona by Satsuma Street. I'm stitching all the ones of places where my husband and I have visited, and I have finished Pretty Little San Francisco. That was the first place we ever traveled together via a plane. So I stitched that one first. And then decided to start with Barcelona. And this is where I got with it. Originally I was stitching them all on the same fabric, which is a 32 count Lugana by Silk Weaver in the color Autumn Blush. And I did Pretty Little San Francisco on it, and I struggled with the fabric. I'm struggling a little bit with the fabric still, but what I learned with Pretty Little San Francisco is how to approach stitching it, because the fabric is very tight. And so what I decided that when I finish this one, so I'll have this one in San Francisco on the same fabric, and then the next 2 I decide to stitch will be on the same fabric, and then I'll keep doing that, so at least they're in pairs. But yeah, I love it. I stitched on this for quite a bit. That's why there's quite a bit of progress. I had several challenges that I used this for, and it was on my WIPCO board for 3 days of stitching. I've checked that off. It's been called. And yeah, we'll see how much more I pull it out this year. But it will definitely be on my WIPCO board next year, hopefully for a finish. All right, so the next 2 series pieces I'm getting ready to show you I've already finished on my Whip Go board, but what I decided to do was go ahead and start the next one in the series. So the other two were for finishes, so and I finished them. I do not expect to have these finished this year, but we shall see. So the first one is Let's Talk Spring by Hands On Design. I have this one, and then I also have when I started this, I had this one and the autumn one, but the spring one spoke to me. I just love the raindrops and the birds and the colors, the tulips. I just loved everything about it. So this was the one I chose to start. And this is where I got on it. I am stitching them all on 32 count linen by Fabrics by Stephanie in the color Slate. And I just finished spring. I started a little bit of a couple little doodads around it. And that's as far as I got. It will come out this month for at least 6 hours of stitching. I think I have it down for at least 2 monthly prompts. So it will get a little bit more progress this month, and I'm excited to see where we end with it at the end of the month. And the next one is part of my wordplay series. It's by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, and I chose to start April. And this is where I got with it. I am stitching the whole series on the same fabric, which is a 28 count Jobelan in the color Clay Marbled. And I'm using all the called for threads so far. I have been known to change up some of the colors. As you see, I'm not that far into this one, so that hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I'm super happy. I don't know, again, if it will be finished this year. It should, because in reality, I can stitch these up in a couple of weeks when I just put some focus into it. But I'm happy that I got the next one started. So my next 2 starts were ones that I just felt like starting. And the first one is the Frogwarts Year 1 band sampler put out by the Black Needle Society, designed by Katie Landis. And you can actually purchase the Year 1 pattern in their vault section of their shop. However, to get the remaining year's patterns, you need to participate in the digital retreat. So, and I participated in year 2. And what they've said going forward is that if you participate, say, in next year's retreat, they will give you the option to purchase the previous year's retreat. That's the only way you'll be able to get them, unless you find someone that's willing to share or sell. So yeah, I started this one. And let me preface by saying that I have stitched on this a lot. My goal is to get it done this year. So I started it in May, and I have not stopped stitching on it since. I put it into any prompt that I can make it fit. So this is where I'm at with it. Yeah, quite a bit done. I am using all the called for threads. I have the 1/1 words at the bottom with some Smyrna crosses, and then I just have the little portion over here, and to finish the band, which is like the cover of the book spines. So yeah, I absolutely love this. This is my first time stitching with a toile. If you look right here, you can see some of the sparkle in it. The key is also in a toile, and then the mirror over here to where my fingers are. I'm going to say it's to the it's on my left. Hello, but it could be on your right. Over here. So I'm looking forward to getting this one done this year. I haven't decided if I'm going to put the quote. I love the quote, but I'm not so sure I want to stitch 1/1 on 40 count, because that's what this is. This is 40 count Fabrics by Stephanie, and I call it parchment. All right, so the last start was something that I've had kitted ever since, well, kitted minus the fabric, ever since this came out. It is the Hands On Design Meow block. I could not resist the call of it anymore, especially when I paired it with my choice of fabric. And this is how far I've gotten, and I've stitched on this a couple more times since I've started it. I'm stitching this on a 32 count linen by B Stitch Me in the color Toast. And when I did the floss toss, I like, this is it. It's very different from the called for, but I'm like, it spoke to me. I love it, and I'm super excited to make more progress on this. Would I like to get it done this year? Absolutely. I just need to make time for it. And right now it's on the full. I didn't even cut it down, but look at this amazing fabric. Isn't that? It looks like a piece of toast. I'm not sure how much I'll have left because I'm stitching across, and then I'm going to put the other block, the top and the bottom on top here. So we shall see. All right, friends, we're in the home stretch of the rest of the projects that I have been working on since June, July, and a little bit of August, and then we'll be completely caught up, and hopefully my next floss tube video will be shorter and I'll be able to include purchases and my knitting. So let's go ahead and finish this up. At the end of June, I was fortunate enough to be able to participate in the Acorns 25th anniversary bash that was held online. And Hello from Liz Matthews was the guest designer. As soon as I saw that, I signed up right away, and we received an exclusive kit. Liz has since given Acorns and Threads the exclusive right to sell the pattern. So if you like this, reach out to Acorns and Threads in Portland, Oregon, and they will be happy to send this to you. But the pattern is Needle in Hand by Hello from Liz Matthews. And we did not open up the stitching pieces until we were all online together, and we opened them up together. And I had no intention of starting this during the Zoom. And then I saw it, and we received it fully kitted, which is all DMC, and we received the fabric, and I'm like, yep, that's going out the door. I'm going to start it. So I started it, and this is where I got to. And this is where I got to. Now, not all the stitching happened during the Zoom. I did work on this for my daily 30 for a couple of weeks, which is I stitch on a project for 5 days for 30 minutes each day. But yeah, the fabric is a 36 count linen from Color and Cotton in the color Bisque. Now, it looks white on screen, but it's actually this most beautiful grayish blue fabric, and I love it. And like I said, it's all in DMC, and if I don't finish it this year, it's definitely going to be a finish for next year. But this is something that I would like to knock out because I just love it so much. The next piece I'm showing you is I pulled it out for the Frogwarts Retreat for a couple of stitching challenges. And it is Bee Garden by Heartstring Samplery. This was where it's at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. I am stitching this on a 32 count linen from Color and Cotton in the color Thistle. And I managed to stitch almost all of the fence line, and I started on the word garden. Yeah, I had a lot of fun pulling this back out and stitching on it. And I don't know why I haven't pulled it out more. I'm definitely going to make it a priority to get this going, because I started this last May. Was not for Stitch Mania. It was towards the end of May. But yeah, I love it, and it needs more love. The next project I worked on is my 2020 Pandemic Sampler by Sarcy Girl. A lot of people are stitching this right now with the for the Deborah Carroll Stitcher stitch along, stitch along, and she mocked this up into 8 pieces. So if you completed 1 piece a month, you'd have it done in 8 months. I'm not participating in that, but I am using her mock-up as a guide to kind of help me see if I can complete a piece each month, because I'd like to have this done by March of next year, so I have it completed in the 1 year from when I started this, because I started this on March 13th of this year to mark the anniversary date of when I started to work from home last year. This is where it's at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at now. I'm stitching this on 36 count linen by Fox and Rabbit in the color Up in the Attic. Yes, Up in the Attic. And I'm using the Mrs. Sadis silk conversion that she had sold in her shop as a charity charity piece back in January for when it was to help feed the children during COVID. So yeah, I have finished the whole bottom corner, and that is one complete section on the mock-up, and then I decided to move above to where the house is. So what I'm hoping to complete this month is from here over, in this little section right here. And if I can get that done by the end of this month, I'll be super happy. I'm plugging it into as many challenges that I can find each week, each month, and seeing where we get. And I'm hoping to stay on track with it, because I love stitching on this very much. My next work in progress has been Without a Mouse by Blackbird Designs. I pulled this out last month for a couple of challenges, and it is on my WIPCO board. It has been called, and I originally thought I had it down for 3 days of stitching, but I have it down for a finish. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where I'm at. I put a lot of work into it, and my goal is to finish it this year. I originally could have said, oh, well, you know, I didn't meet the WIPCO goal, but I don't see why I can't have this done by the end of the year, especially since about right here is the halfway point on the pattern. And the bulk of the stitching is that pumpkin, and as you can see, I am almost done. This is the bottom floor. There's a couple windows, and it starts the door. So, yep, I'm almost finished with that. And then everything else will stitch up pretty quickly, except for maybe that 1/1. I'm stitching this on 36 count linen by Picture This Plus in the color Fossil, and I went with the color. It's a Thread Gather. It's a Thread Gather silken color in the color Old Western Sun. This the thread, the silk was left over from when I did my Sunny Sunflower piece that I had kitted up when I went to StitchCon in 2019. And I had leftover, so I thought this would look fantastic on this fabric. So yeah, hopefully the next time you see it, it will be done. Also, what's super special about this piece is that it was designed by Barb Adams, who was half of the Blackbird design dynamic, fantastic, outrageously gifted, talented designers. And we all know that she lost her battle with cancer on the morning of July 4th, which was a shock to all of us. So when I saw that she had designed this piece, it made it even more special to pull it out, stitch on it, and think about her and her family, and think of Alma. So when I finished my Mill Hill triple scoop piece, the following Monday I started my next one, which I believe I started this past Monday. But it is it was a week ago Monday. But it's another one in the Spring Bouquet series, and it's called Root Beer Float. There you go, you can see it a little bit better. And this is where I'm at on it. All of the X's are done, and I started beading it yesterday and today. So I'm hoping to have this done by the end of the week. And if I don't, I'm using it for my daily 30, which is 30 minutes of stitching. and I'll be stitching on it through Friday, and if it's not done, I'll just continue working on it until it is. So that way next Monday I can start another one. All right, 2 projects left. The next project I worked on is I pulled out Oh Joy's Day by Blackbird Designs. I started this on January 20th for the inauguration. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where I'm at now. I am stitching this on a 36 count linen by Color & Cotton in the color Pearwood. And I am using all of the DMC conversion that was provided. No overdyes in this. And I will say that this color right here in the pear stem, the conversion given was DMC 689. And after searching for that DMC for 2 days, I found out that it doesn't exist. So I just went into my DMC stash and pulled a brown that matched. So I went with DMC 611. And what I'm doing is I'm just doing this top portion, and I'm going to have it finished in a drum. And I think I'm also going to stitch this bottom portion and have that finished in the drum. Right now, I'm not interested in stitching this whole middle piece. I do like this flower here that could be stitched individually and maybe put into like a pillow finish. So that's what my plan is with this right now, but I'm loving this. The pear is the middle of the fabric or the pattern. I did Algerian eyelet for the very first time. It's okay. You know, it was my first attempt, and I think it looks okay. I was afraid to pull it too tight. It probably could have been pulled a little tighter, but guess what? There's another one on this row, so I get a second chance of making it just a little bit better. But I'm not bothered by it at all, so I'm not going to pull it out and try again. And there's some satin stitching along the border here and along the border here, and I just haven't put that in yet. And the last whip I have to show you is what I'm currently working on, and it is Winter Rose Manor by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. I started this as my New Year's start this year, and I worked on it a few times earlier in this year, and I decided after it hadn't been neglected for a few months to pull it out this month. This is where it was at the last time you saw it. And this is where it's at right now. I'm stitching this on a 36 count linen by XJude Design in the color Marbled Bunny. And it's in the hoop because I'm still working on it. And yeah, I'm using all the called for colors except for the house color here and the snow color. I pulled a couple of Victorian Motto sample shop threads that I had in my stash. And I love it. I am going to be working on it for another 3 hours, and we will see how far I can get with that. And then it will come back out beginning of September. And I also want to say is that door, this is my second time stitching it, because the first time I stitched the whole entire door, which is 218 stitches, I used the wrong color, and I hesitated to pull it out, but I'm so glad I did because I like the color that it's called for so much better. So yep, pay attention to your symbols, people. That's all I have to say. All right, so that is all of my whips. All right, that is a wrap. That is everything I have worked on since May, June, July, and a little bit of August. Whew, I have no idea how long this will be, but I'm so happy I managed to squeeze in the recording of it today because I just did not know when it would happen. Because life, I plan on to record on a Saturday, and sometimes that just doesn't happen. But I am also going to be doing my kitted parade. I know a lot of you have expressed interest in seeing that, and I am planning on recording that. I'm taking the week of my birthday off from work. I'm not going anywhere, just wanted to take the week off. I usually do, and I have a list of things I want to do, and recording that video for you is on top of that list. So it will be a FlossTube Extra, so if you have no interest in watching it, you can just skip on by. I am not bothered by that. It is for anyone who is interested to see what kind of projects I have kitted up that I deem that I would like to start sooner rather than later. My only other plan, because right now my plans are just continue to working on all my whips, work on WhipGo, stitch more, and I don't know why I'm piling everything on top here. Let me reach down and grab what I'm trying to pull out of this other bag. All right, so what I was trying to pull out was my birthday start. My birthday is on August 17th, and when I was going through my kitted projects a couple of months ago, I realized this project was sitting in there, and I want to start it for my birthday, and that is Dreaming of Mums by Rosewood Manor. I love the ones that she's done. It's not a series, but she's done several different florals for like these patterns. She's done I think she's done daffodils, roses, whatever, tulips. But the colors in this one is calling to me the loudest. And so I decided that I'm going to start it for my birthday, because if I don't start it for my birthday, when will I start it? So yep, good excuse. I am going to stitch it on 36 count color and cotton Parthenon, and this was the March 2021 neutral fabric, and all the called for threads on it looks fantastic. So I mentioned this now because I know quite a few of us have maybe already started the Rosewood Manor pattern, or have one in their stash that they want to start. And I know that she has big ones and there's also small patterns. But I was thinking that if anyone was interested in putting in a couple stitches onto their Rosewood Manor patterns with me on August 17th, please do. Share in the fun. I'm turning 50 this year, so it's like, for me, go big or don't. So I was going to say go big or go home, but I'm at home, and whatever. So I haven't come up with a hashtag. I was thinking hashtag STS Rosewood Manor B-Day style. I was thinking hashtag STS Rosewood B-Day style. I don't know. What should I hashtag this? I know there's quite a few out there that are very clever with hashtags. So let me know in the comments what you think my hashtag should be for my birthday style this year. All right, friends, that is all I'm going to share today. That's all I'm going to talk about. This is already going to be a super, super long video. I don't know when I will be back. I know, like I said, I'm going to do the recording of my kitted parade during my birthday week, so I took it off. So I'll record that, get it edited, and put it up as a FlossTube Extra. I hope to be back in a couple weeks, I think the weekend before my birthday, with another update video for you. So I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're getting a lot of stitching done and just finding joy and happiness in your everyday life. And with that, I'm going to say happy stitching. Take care. Bye.